Hi everyone, I chose Chapter 8 Closing Case to do my second presentation on. Chapter 8 Closing Case starts out with Bethesda Mining Company. Now, it's a mid-sized coal company with about 20 mines located in Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Kentucky. They operate both deep and strip mines. Strip mining allows you to remove the topsoil and rock layers to expose shallow horizontal deposits, while deep mining involves more digging of shafts and tunnels to reach ore deposits that are deeper underground. So they have both of these mines spread out in the eastern region. Most coal is sold under contract, and any excess production that they do have, they sell it on the spot market. So the mining industry, overall, it's been hard hit by environmental regulations, and this is particularly impactful to high sulfur coal operations. However, recent increased demand for coal and new pollution reduction technology has improved market demand for coal. So it's making a little bit of a comeback. So they've got an opportunity presented to them, and that's from Mid-Ohio Electric Company. So Mid-Ohio Electric Company approached Bethesda and they requested coal to supply their electric generators for about the next 4 years. So currently, Bethesda Mining does not have enough excess capacity to guarantee the contract at its existing mines. So in all 20 of its mines that are spread across the eastern U.S., they wouldn't have enough capacity to fulfill this contract unless they opened a new mine. And we're going to talk about whether they should do that or not. So, contract details. Mid-Ohio Electric Company needs about 50,000 or 500,000 tons of coal per year at $57 per ton. If they open a new mine, Bethesda Mining Company projects that they can produce 750,000 tons, 810,000 tons, 830,000 tons, and 720,000 tons over the next 4 years. So we can already see off the bat that this is quite a bit more than the electric company would even need. So excess production would be sold at the spot market. And on the spot market, it's $45 per ton instead of $57 per ton. But at least they have somewhere to sell the excess if they need to. So variable costs are $16 per ton. Their fixed costs will be $3.7 million per year if they open the new mine. And the net working capital of 5% will be built up in the year prior to the sales. So we'll go over the choice that they have. They can open a strip mine in Ohio on 5,000 acres, and that land was purchased 10 years ago for $5.4 million. And since it's been 10 years since it was purchased, the current value is now $7.3 million after tax. Now, if they want to open the mine, regulations force them to do land reclamation after use. So that'll end up being in year 5, the year after the contract with Mid-Ohio Electric Company ends. The cost will be $3.9 million to do the land reclamation, which is basically just cleanup. And after the reclamation, the land will be a state park donation in order to receive permits needed. So the state park, wherever it'll be in Ohio on the 5,000 acres. So Ohio's State Park Foundation requires that they make a donation in order to even get the permits that they need to open the mine. So Donating that will be a charitable expense deduction of $7.3 million, which is the current value of the land. They'll need to purchase new equipment. They don't have enough equipment at their current mines to even take this on either. The cost of that equipment will be for $43 million, which is a big chunk up front. But the good thing on the equipment is that it can be sold at 60% of its initial purchase price. Or again, they can move it to a different mine and they can keep using it there. So they face a 21% tax rate and a 12% required return on the new strip mine projects. So let's get into the numbers here. The land opportunity cost, that would be $7.3 million. That's coming from the current value of the 5,000 acres that they already had. The equipment cost, again, will be $43 million. They can recoup that, about 60% of it. The net working capital investment will be 5% of year one sales. As far as equipment depreciation, it will depreciate by 14.29% in year one, 24.49% in year two, 17.49% in year three, and then finally in year four, when the contract ends, it will depreciate by 12.49%. So our final calculations, the ones that really lead us up to whether or not that Bethesda should even take this on. So their payback period, remember the contract will be 4 years. So payback period is estimated to be 2.43 years. So a little over half, and they'll have made their money back. So the profitability index as well will be 1.24. The net present value will be $12,368,922. And the internal rate of return will be 22.79%. So these are all the key calculations that they're going to need to consider when they think about whether they should open the mine or not. 2.43 years is really not a bad payback period. So we have that in red here. I think that's one of the biggest calculations. Obviously, all of these are important to look at, but I think this is one of the biggest ones to take into consideration. So in the end, what should they do? Well, the net present value is positive. They have a high internal rate of return, 22.79 versus the required 12%. And the payback period of 2.4 years is pretty reasonable. I don't think that even if it was 3 years or 4 years, it would be unreasonable. But at 2.4 years, I don't see why they shouldn't take it at all. Now, Bethesda should take the contract and proceed with opening the strip mine. This project generates strong returns and pays back the initial investment well before the end of the contract. So, going back to the contract, they'll need 500,000 tons of coal. They can produce numbers well over it, and then they'll even have enough to sell at the spot market. So, in my opinion, there's no way they shouldn't take this contract with Mid-Ohio Electric Company. They can recoup everything that they put in and more. They're almost doubling the rate of return. And the net present value is obviously positive again. So yeah, they should definitely open the strip mine. They don't even have to pay for the land. They already had 5,000 acres in Ohio that was purchased 10 years ago. That value has already went up as well. So, also didn't mention again at the end, but remember they'll get a charitable expense deduction of $7.3 million. So with all that in mind, go ahead and take the contract is my suggestion. Alright, well, thank you for watching.